Good morning, everybody. It's the 13th of January. We are Signal Centre Talking Ball. I'm Joe Napier. I'm joined this morning, as always, by Ian Coleman and Steve O'Hare. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Everybody all right?
Yeah, all good this morning.
Yeah. How you
A bit
feeling?
dishevelled.
The league?
About being second in the league, yeah. Not too bad. I watched the match last night. I mean, Man United deserved to win, no doubt, but I think they're a really shit team.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think everyone's having a...
I think everyone's a shit team at the moment. If you look at,
Need the crowds back. Need the crowds back.
yeah, definitely. It's sort of like it is very flat. Every game is like a little bit training ground like.
Yeah.
I know they're trying their best, but it's just without that atmosphere, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I agree.
But that seems like a long way off at the moment with more draconian measures on their way, I expect.
Yeah, so have you seen anything about that? Regarding
Just a few comments this morning, maybe talking about making a 3 metre rule, banning mixing with another person out for a walk, shutting down the takeaway restaurants, all sort of disastrous things that, you know. So it's just no
takeaways.
No. So I mean, I just
run
think
on the old supermarkets.
Huh?
Run on the supermarkets after that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I need to have one person in at a time at the supermarkets as well. One person from a family or a household.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously they sort of policing that is just ridiculous anyway. It's going to be ridiculous. I don't know what the.
They're talking about issuing a lot more fines, aren't they?
A lot more fines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, need to do something, I guess. They've not been very visible, have they? The law enforcement people.
No, there's a lot of them off ill, probably, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Germany, they're looking like they're going to prolong their lockdown. They're nervous about contracting the UK strain of the virus. Ireland, this has already been the case. Hospitals under pressure there. So, clearly it's not getting any better in the very short term. I think, according to what I heard, they're expecting the peak this week from Christmas in terms of new cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. So
just be in time to save the sort of like oxygen. I think that's exhausting, isn't it? So
yeah, none left in Southend.
No, I see they're moving patients who are sort of over the symptoms or sort of like on the mend into hotels and sending them home. That's already started. So they're past the contagious stage, apparently.
Yeah, right.
But just to sort of free up some beds in the hospitals, which sort of makes sense. Listen, I mean, at the end of the day, it's an horrendous thing, but I think there's still the sort of like the chances of dying from it are still sort of like 0.00100% or something.
Yeah, it's
something
quite
stupid.
Low.
So maybe we just got to think about that.
Yeah,
a bit more.
Anyway, let's get on to the other headlines of today. The biggest one I can see is regarding the presidential situation in America. US Vice President Mike Pence is being demanded to remove President Donald Trump from the office by using the 25th Amendment. A largely symbolic
this
move.
morning.
Yeah, he has said no. He's saying he won't do it. And he's saying the nation needs to heal following last week's mob attack on the US Capitol. So I've heard Trump on the news as well saying it's absolutely ridiculous. They're voting to impeach him, aren't they? Is that today?
Yeah, today. Yeah. I think what they also said is there's two parts to the impeachment. One is to vote to impeach, which they will get voted through. Then it goes to the Senate, and that is where they basically bring the case against him. Now, that will take time, so he will already be out of office by the time this happens. So they're saying they will come back to it after the 100 days bedding in periods that Biden has. They will come back because what they want to do is to, once he's impeached, he'll never be able to run for office again. Because his diehard supporters are saying that they want to run in 2024. So by impeaching him, that will stop that opportunity. because he's a complete raving lunatic and should be.
We had a load of comments. Well, not a load of comments. A few comments on after the Capitol mob attack. There was a few comments on our on this video. Obviously, Trump supporters weren't too happy with what we were saying. So, Steve, I expected a bit of a backlash of your comment there.
Oh, good. Bring it on. He's a complete fucking lunatic. And anyone who follows him, don't follow the talking bull. There you go.
Okay.
Well, this is the week where he's going to disclose all the pedos, isn't it?
Well,
wow, what's going on there?
I just feel
that's basically what all the conspiracy theorists are talking about. The fact that they're trying to oust him, to shut him up, because he's going to. His last week in office, he's going to spill the beans.
Oh, okay.
So wasn't he best pals with Prince Andrew and the other geezer who was like a paedophile?
Epstein.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
He's got loads of proof. And supposedly the guy that got all the proof for him fell off a bridge about 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got as much proof as there was a conspiracy around the election being fixed.
Rigged. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just for America, it's just put America back in the dark ages, in my opinion. There's it's not a democracy anymore, and it will take years to recover to a democracy because you've got because you had that idiot in charge. And he's done what he's done. I think he's done this time last year, he was brilliant. He couldn't do anything wrong. And then the pandemic hit, and then the Black Lives Matter movement he didn't handle very well. And now the not stepping down from office is absolute has turned him around from could have been one of a legacy of one of the best presidents they've ever had, to now being one of the worst presidents they've ever had. So yeah, maybe
you're not on that pedo list, are you?
Oh yeah, could be. Could be, yeah. Shut him up quick.
I think he'd be a bit nicer about Trump if he was.
Yeah. No, I'll take him on. No, they've got no proof anyway.
Okay, right. Let's get on to some charts, shall we? So, what was happening yesterday in the markets, Ian? I'm going to throw it over to you first. You can talk us through some FX dollar index bits and pieces.
Stocks kept grinding higher, didn't they? And because of that, we saw Treasury yields lower, and we also saw this move down in the dollar index. This is the hourly chart. So we've closed that gap that we had over the weekend that we discussed yesterday. We've hit this 50% fib, and we've started to move higher. Now, I've got no strong reversal points or indicators. And I'm still think that this week is a chop around week, and I would be wary of levels up around here, around about 90.55, for a potential move down to here. This is a cipher pattern, 89.40, 89.36. So the fact it's bounced off the 50% doesn't really bode well. It was much better to bounce off a 61 or a 78.6. So this could just be a little shake-up move to the upside, and then a move lower down towards this level. As far as sort of the commodity currencies are concerned, they actually sort of highlight strong dollar. If we go to this one here, this is Aussie dollar. So
I reckon a head and shoulders going on there.
Yeah, so left shoulder, head, neckline here, and then right shoulder. But again, unless it breaks, it's not a confirmed formation. So we really got to look for a breakout, and I'm just wary about that dollar index. But if we go to this one, which was the New Zealand dollar, which we talked about yesterday, got stopped out for a tick, which was nice, and then ran to the target.
Horrible.
That looks like quite a decent head and shoulders formation as well. But again, we've got to break these lows to confirm it. So I think that confirmation of the dollar move is coming. I just don't know if it's with us yet. Basically, 261.8% fib on euro dollar. We've had a decent move to the upside. Is that the whole correction? Again, I'm not sure. It looks a bit it looks a bit weak. I'd prefer to set it up here. So neckline being here, this being wave A, down in wave B, and then up in wave C to form the right shoulder to then give us a nice head and shoulders pattern in that puppy. Sterling dollar, we talked about this yesterday about it being in this channel formation. We are starting to see a stalling in buying pressure, but a full ABCD or a flag target is up here at 137.30. So again, I'm wondering if we just move lower, maybe use this sort of previous area of support, which is around about 136.25, 136.35, and then bounce off there to take this target out and then move to the downside. So they're all looking iffy, skew iffy this morning. 261.8% fib again, so this is virtually -1 correlated to euro dollar. A, B, C. I really like this zone. This is a previous swing low at 88.22. This is a 61.8% pullback level at 88.19. So a free tick zone basically there for potential longs, and obviously target levels being up here, it offers very good risk reward. Dollar yen, we said yesterday about the fact that 102 sort of 50 area was a prime target. So we have moved lower. We're just bouncing again near a 50% fib. Got a confluence area here, but I think sort of this area, 102.80, 102.50 is more of a zone to try and get long on dollar Swiss. Dollar CAD, don't really know what's going on in dollar CAD. I mean, we've hit this 61.8% fib. If you look to these larger time frames, they're sort of highlighting much lower levels. 124.92, 125 the figure. So I think as far as the commodity currencies are concerned, again going back to Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, unless it breaks this high here, I think we could get a move all the way down to this 261.8% fib, which is near those longer term fibs, around about 125 the figure. Euro sterling, it broke through this previous support. I can't get really a handle on it until here, 88.44. And euro yen just tracked sideways yesterday. I quite like a bounce off here. This is a 261.8% fib, 126.04, which is the previous swing low. But again, if we get down to that sort of level, up, right shoulder, and then a move lower. So I think there's a lot of potential for reversals or signs of reversals, which we've been looking for what feels like months now. But I don't think they're there yet, basically.
Okay.
So I think we're going to see a lot of chop.
Okay, excellent. We shall wait and see. Steve, what's your take on indices and commodities today?
I think indices is a little bit of a mixed bag today. The Asian session has continued higher, been quite positive overnight, with Nikkei breaking to highs. China also had a little bit of a push higher yesterday, but it's had a bit of a setback overnight, but still sort of like in the upward trending areas, along with Hang Seng. This as well, the hourly chart, the 4-hour chart, and the daily chart is looking pretty good for Hang Seng. And obviously we've got this weekly chart, which we've seen the break above the downward trending resistance, so that's looking pretty positive. Still sort of like plenty of room on the upside for a deeper correction. For the Dow, yesterday's posted a bit of a hanging man candle, but it seems to be ignoring it at the moment. There's a little bit of pressure on the short-term chart on the hourly, and the same with Nasdaq. Nasdaq is actually under its hourly Ichimoku cloud, but it's still above the 4-hour cloud, so still sort of a little bit of hope there. It did feel like yesterday afternoon we were going to get a bit of a sell-off in these US equities, but they recovered quite quickly. We saw a spike down in the S&P down to when that get down to 37.76, but before rebounding quite aggressively an hour or so later. So yeah, I mean, DAX under a little bit of pressure short term, the CAC under a little bit of pressure short term. So it's really sort of a little bit, you know, I think there's potential for this correction to continue, but you can't stand in the way once it sort of gets motoring to the upside. On the commodity front, we've got a couple of things to talk about. Gold initially. We're still in this on the 4-hour chart. I've got this bearish flag, which is still forming. That's begun to the head trade yesterday, which looked good for a while and then corrected back towards the close. But we're around about the same levels that we got short at yesterday, and I still think there's a little bit of potential there, although I'm not quite as convinced. Maybe more so in silver, where we have this bearish pennant, and that is maybe more of a gun to the head trade I'm thinking about. Copper continues this mild correction lower. Still got some decent levels below. We've got the 350 level and the 343, I think, from previously we spoke about. But oil, this is the one that's a little bit of the mixed bag. That's a 4-hour chart. Let's go to the daily chart, and we can look at the 78.6 level that we talked about for a while now, and I think you mentioned it, or Joe mentioned it this week as well, coming in at 53.40. A little bit of resistance coming in here, and we can see if we go way back to the 20th of Feb, almost a year ago, 54.64 is further resistance. So a little band of resistance here for the oil. There's a couple of things going on in oil. We've seen we saw a draw in the oil inventories last night, which supported oil price. But also there's a story out this morning that OPEC plus oil output cuts, the compliance to these cuts has fallen to 75%. Now that could weigh on oil prices. It means that the sort of OPEC plus output cuts aren't being adhered to. So there's that's news out from a tanker tracker company, Petro Logistics. Obviously just tracking their tankers. So yeah, there's a little bit of a two-way potential in oil as well. Obviously with that news out, it still looks like it's holding up nicely on the hourly chart. All we've seen is flags going all the way up here, and we've had this correction since 4 o'clock this morning. A little bit of a reversal. Should find a little bit more support coming in around about the 53 level, and you know, still in that uptrend. But on the 4-hour chart, quite an interesting little reversal formation. A evening doji star formation potentially forming now. So that closes at 11, 7 till 11, I suppose that candle is. I don't know why it's still 11. I thought it would be 6 till 10, but it's 7 till 11. So 11 o'clock, if we close around here, then there's good potential for a bit more of a correction lower in oil.
Cool.
Lovely.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, so on to the guns to the head stuff from yesterday. We had our 3 trades as usual. We had a short on Bitcoin, a short on gold, and a long on New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So Bitcoin was 0.94 R to the good at 9 o'clock. It was off of its best levels from the short side. Still looking a little bit under pressure. It's had a bit of a bounce back this morning. Gold, Steve, again, there was another one that's off its best levels. It was looking quite nice, but gold sort of flatlined a bit towards the close, so that was flat. And Ian, you were desperately unlucky with your trade, as you said, a 1-tick move to get you stopped out before it actually went on to go and hit the target. So just sort of sums up where we're at the moment with with these trade ideas. So we lost a tiny bit of money yesterday overall. It could have been a hell of a lot better, but you know, that's the way it went. Have you got some ideas for us today, gents?
I'm ready. I've really struggled. I like Euro New Zealand daily chart. So basically, if you're looking at correlation, so Euro dollar's got a chance still to move to the upside, but that New Zealand dollar, that we talked about, head and shoulders formation, could potentially break lower. So using correlation, that should mean that Euro New Zealand moves up. We've got a crab formation here between 168.82 and 168.70. If we go to this time frame, this is the hourly chart. We've made a Gartley pattern, virtually perfect at 168.75 yesterday. Could be seen as a head and shoulders. So neckline, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, which would have a measured move target all the way up here at 171.30. So the risk reward's quite good. So I'm going to take it at 69.07 with a stop at 68.77. And a target of 71.28, which I don't think we'll get today, but it gives a whopping 7.4 R.
Nice one. Okay, best of luck. Steve, what you got?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm quite interested in what Ian was talking about with these head and shoulders patterns. So I've drawn up this on Aussie US dollar. This is the hourly chart. We had a bit of a trend line going on there in red. We saw a break of that back then on the 10th of January, and we've seen a decent retest and a failure. That also comes roughly in line with a 78.6% fib level from the head that I've got here on the 6th of January down to, again, those swing lows on the 11th. It looks like we're rolling over to the downside this morning, so I'm getting short now at 77.48. I'm placing the stop just above these highs here at 77.83. The measured move of the head and shoulders target, which is yet to complete, it isn't a head and shoulders yet, it's just a potential head and shoulders top, is down at 75.13. So that's where I will be looking to target. That's also a 38.2% fib level of the recent up move in Aussie US dollar. So we've got a little bit of confluence around there, which I quite like, from those lows from the 2nd of November. So that's my trade of the day, selling Aussie US dollar at market.
Lovely. Good luck.
Steve?
I think I'm going to go for shorting oil. Just we've got the 78.6% fib level that we mentioned, 53 coming in at 53.40, and which we're trading at right now. So and obviously the evening doji star formation on the 4-hour chart gives me a couple of reasons to think that this little sell-off could accelerate a little bit. So we can get quite a nice risk-reward trade going here. Let's put the stop at 53.95, which would be a new high. I should have put 54.05. Keep the sort of like the pivotal or the psychological level on our side, the 54.00, and we've got to target a move maybe back down to 51.75. Is that give me enough? 53. I don't know why I'm trying to pick a level. Let's call, can we call it 52? Yeah, 2.11 R. So it's more than 2 R, risk reward of more than 2. So yeah, I'm going to target a move to $52, which will be around about the previous support resistance battle area, and also in the Ichimoku cloud levels.
Perfect.
So getting short 53.39, stop at 54.05, and a target of 52.00.
Excellent.
Lovely.
Thank you, Steve. Good luck, guys. Okay, so data-wise today, we've got US CPI at 130. Price is expected to rise to 1.3% year-on-year and 0.4% month-on-month. And the core CPI is expected to rise to 1.6% year-on-year and 0.2% month-on-month. Keep an eye on US dollar pairs at 130. Steve, we've also got US crude inventories at 330, so that could help your cause later today. Previous weeks saw a stockpile fall by 8 million barrels. So
oh, I don't want to see that. I want to see it go up, don't I?
You want to see it go up, yes. So keep an eye on that at 330, which could give your position a nice shot in the arm.
Or a nice
vaccine.
A nice arm in the shit.
Possibly, yeah. Anything else to add, gents?
No, I think I've done enough damage for one day.
Okay. Right, Ian, anything else from you, mate? We covered everything on the calendar?
Yep. Lagarde's out now, actually, 9 o'clock.
Okay. Let's see what she's got
As
to
we
say.
speak, she is speaking. So.
Cool. Okay, right, guys. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and
Yeah, and you.
we'll be back tomorrow morning.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers,
Ed. Bye bye.